What if you could ace your interview performance when it mattered most? Well, that's the promise of this particular video. Inside, I'm going to be revealing 10 powerful tips to help you put in the performance of your life. And in fact, it's part of a series of videos that we've made here at Momenta to help you get the contract you want faster than you thought possible. Hello, my name's Sam Waterfall. I'm a career coach. I specialise in helping people get the roles they want. I've been doing this for the last 14 years. And in that time, I've helped thousands of people to develop their career and live up to their potential. So those 10 interview performance tips, let's take them one at a time. I'll go through and try to explain them to you. If you apply these on your big day, you're going to find they make a massive difference. So interview performance tip number 1 is to create a winning first impression. First impressions are so important. People judge us so quickly. And so I want you to think about your outfit, what you're wearing, and of course it's important to dress up for the contract you want rather than the contract you may already have. And consider also the dress code of the organisation that you're going to. Do they wear ties? Is it a suits environment? What's the particular dress code there? Think about that as you're planning your outfit. Also make sure you've shined your shoes and that you're looking generally smart. And a final tip on first impressions, carry your bags or any papers you might have in your left hand so that your right hand is free for that all-important handshake. You don't want that hand to be clammy, or you don't want it to be full of bags and things, so you can't make that handshake naturally. It's all important for that first impression. Performance tip number 2 is to treat everyone as if they're the most important person in the world. You just don't know all the people who are going to be there in the building and around the place for the day of your interview. And what if you were sitting opposite your interviewer on the train? They could be watching you. What if they're watching you when you're waiting in the lobby or in reception? What if you bump into somebody or don't hold a door for them at some point? So think about everyone you meet. It would be very embarrassing not to have held a door and not to have helped someone and for them to turn out to be your interviewer later on. One agency I used to work at, they actually used the final say for someone's getting hired or not came from the reception team. And what they did was they spoke to the people on reception and found out, did this person make a good impression? Were they polite? Would they fit in well around here? And so you just don't know who is the most important person, so treat everyone as if they're the most important person, because on your interview day, they may just be that. Interview performance tip number 3. Realize this is showtime. Maya Angelou, she said that people will forget what you do, they'll forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So keep that in mind. Remember that your interview is your moment to shine. It's your chance to step up, and your interview is really your stage. So do perform, make an impression, and show that you've got passion and confidence for this contract. Performance tip number 4 is to smile and to maintain natural eye contact. Now I'm trying to do that with you right now through the camera. It's not the most natural thing ever, but I'm trying to do that just as you will need to try to do that in your interview. Keeping that natural eye contact is so important for making someone feel that you're listening and that you're really engaged in the conversation. Interview performance tip number 5 is to realize the importance of your body language. Professor Morabian did the study onto the power of non-verbal and verbal communication, and the results were amazing. Do you know that only 7% of your total communication comes from the words you say? You may be stressing about your interview answers, but really you should be thinking about the tone of voice and the way that that's delivered, because the voice is actually 38% of your communication, but fully 55% is your body language, the way that you use your body language to communicate and emphasize the words that you're saying. So yes, practice your words, but really think about that body language and use that. Practice it in advance. Work out how you will emphasize different parts of your story. And that leads us to performance tip number 6, which is to signpost each part of your answer. You may say, for example, that there are 3 reasons why I'm particularly interested in the contract. So say 3 reasons. And maybe you want to count those off as you give the reasons so that your interviewer can see where you're up to in your answer. It also stops them worrying that you're going to keep talking on and on and on. If you've got a longer answer, you might want to say, well, the first part of my answer is this, and then signpost that you're moving on to use that body language effectively to let them know where you've reached in your answer. Interview performance tip number 7. This is to use your interviewer's name. Dale Carnegie, he wrote the book about how to win friends and influence people. In there they talk about how the name is golden. You know how sometimes you can even hear your name, even if there's someone else who shares your name and someone else gets called that name, you hear it and you respond. So your interviewer responds as well. Make sure you know their name and use their name every now and then in the conversation. Do it, but don't overdo it. Okay, you can do that too much, but it's a good tip. Interview performance tip number 8. Don't forget to breathe. Really important to kind of reset yourself, because guess what? Your body, when you're stressed, you're going to find that actually you can just get tense, and there's a tendency for the body not to take in the air, the breath that you need, and that's going to starve your brain of the oxygen it desperately needs for you to think clearly and give the best answers. It's also a really calming experience. If you put the palms of your hands flat down onto your knees, that's a very calming experience. Let the shoulders drop down as well, and just take a deep breath. And if you do that at the end of each answer, you don't need to be visibly inhaling, but just reset yourself, and it's going to mean that you're ready for the next answer. You're giving your brain the oxygen it needs. Very important. Don't forget to breathe. Tip number 9, make sure you have questions and a summary ready. There's 2 common ways that your interview will end. Firstly, it could be, they might say something like, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? And if that's the case, it's really important for you to be able to think through the 3 questions in the interviewer's mind. And those are, can you do this role? Will you do this role? And also, will you be able to fit in with the other people doing the role? And so make sure that you show them and you have demonstrated that you have the ability. Make sure that you have demonstrated your motivation, that you really want this role, and also that you will fit in. And if you think through at the end when they say, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? That's a brilliant opportunity for you to fill in on any of those areas that you've got the ability, that you've got the motivation, and that you're a really great fit with the organisation. The other thing that they might say to you is, as they finish, do you have any questions for me? And of course, the best question to ask is the one that's real, the one that's actually in your head. What do you really want to know about? So make sure that you've thought that through, and also do ask about the next stage and timings in the process, but avoid asking all the questions that are about what you want necessarily. Wait till you get an offer, and then you can work out any additional details. Finally, interview performance tip number 10, create a winning last impression. We talked about the first impression, the last impression is the close. Finish strong, and remember that the interview is not over just when they say it's over. You could be watched beyond the handshake, beyond the actual closing of that interview. They may be watching you as you leave. You might meet somebody else outside, so don't let your guard down just as soon as you finish that interview. It's really, really important. So that's what we would recommend. Those are 10 performance tips. And in summary, these are 10 tips which will significantly boost your interview performance. Applying any one of them will help, but if you apply all 10, just watch the difference. It's going to make a huge difference to the success of your interview performance. We wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.